Happy Friday, I'm Carol Schulte and welcome to another video edition of my Happy Friday blog. And greetings from one of my favorite places in the world. Now, as much as I love traveling, both for work and for pleasure, as they say, there's no place like home, and it is so true. I just flew in last night from New Orleans after having spoken at the SHRM conference, an amazing conference, 19,000 people. And by the time you watch this video, I'll either be in the air or back in Buenos Aires, Argentina to continue my remote year experience. Right now, in this moment, I'm pretty darn happy to be in my father's backyard. Now today I want to talk about an important distinction, one I first learned at an early personal development program that I attended, one of the many I've attended through the years, and it's the difference between decision and choice. Allow me to explain. On any given day, we are inundated with decisions that we have to make. What we'd like for breakfast, what we're going to wear, what to say yes to and what to say no to. However, there's a different way that we can come at it, and arguably a more powerful place. Instead of feeling like you're making a decision and therefore having to give up one of the alternatives, why not come from a place of free will or a place of choice? Choosing how to be, what you want, and how you're going to show up in the world is far more powerful. Now, I was reminded of this idea after attending an amazing session with the incredible and inspirational Barbara Glanz, a speaker, a mentor, and now a friend. I've heard her before, and yesterday in her talk she was speaking about the idea and the importance of appreciation and recognition and the small things that you can do to make a big difference. And one of the powerful stories that she shared towards the end of her talk ended with a challenge. And the challenge was, treat every person you meet as though this day might be their last. Imagine if they were going to go at midnight, how would you want that interaction to go? Now, perhaps a little bit of a morbid thought, but it really does get you to think about who you want to be with every person that you meet. And so I took this on, and I want to share a little bit of a story. I flew out very early in the morning at 6:30 a.m. and I was very excited to get out, and I hope everybody with the tropical storm Cindy that's coming through New Orleans is okay. And I flew to Houston and then Houston to Toronto. And on the second leg of my journey, I was a little bit sleepy and found myself actually falling asleep. And as we were getting closer to Toronto, I realized I hadn't engaged in conversation with a gentleman sitting next to me. Now, oftentimes I do love meeting new people. Well, all the time I do, but sometimes I'm either working or I'm sleeping and I don't necessarily get the opportunity to really get into it. And I thought, you know what? If this potentially was his last day here, how would I want that interaction to look like? So I introduced myself and I got a chance to meet Eric Wu and asked him about his story, what he was up to, what was going on in his life. It turns out he was going to be arriving in Toronto and in Canada for the first time ever, representing his company to do all the installation for IT for the new warehouse that they were forming. Now, he's a professional IT expert, but he was the only one from his department that was able to go to Canada because he was the only one with a passport. And so he was alone and a little bit nervous. So we got into conversation and I ended up telling him all about the city and how great it was, giving him a list of activities to do and places to go to, things to see, and he seemed pretty appreciative. And then I ended up giving my phone number and my email address. And when we arrived in Toronto, he had to go through immigration. And again, he was a little bit scared because he had a visa and he wasn't sure I was going to go. So I said, don't worry, I'll wait for you. I waited for him. We waited for our bags together. And then we parted ways when I showed him the shuttle that he would need to take in order to get to his hotel. He seemed very, very appreciative, and I do hope that I hear from Eric again. But even if I didn't, that interaction meant something. Not only to him, because I could see on his face, but also to me. We connected and we made friends. So my challenge to you is, who do you want to be in every interaction? How do you want to show up? And when life presents some difficulties sometimes, are you going to choose to react in a certain way and make it a positive experience or a negative one? Now, Barbara talked about this idea that every day we have a choice. We can choose whether or not it's going to be a good day or a bad day. And life isn't always going to be rainbows and unicorns, but we do have the power of choice. So my challenge to you, how are you going to choose to show up? How are you going to choose to be in those interactions? And who are you going to choose to be for yourself? Because every day we do have an opportunity to choose something. That's what I want to leave you with. Perhaps it's not about making decisions and giving up certain things. It's about making a powerful choice because it makes sense and it makes you feel good and ultimately is going to make a difference in the world. So until next time, I'm Carol Schulte. Have a fabulous week and continue to make powerful, positive choices in your life. Until next time, don't forget also to keep dreaming big, playing big, and living big. Let's keep the conversation going. Share your thoughts below. I want to hear from you. See you next time.